Hello, and welcome to video number 16 on the Jesuit Vatican shadow empire that rules the world by deception today. I want to address a really important issue that the Roman Catholic cult and the Jesuits are deeply implicated in, which is the flat earth debate that has been taking the internet by storm over the last 10 years. If you think this topic is crazy, impossible, or only for mentally unstable people, then I'm here to inform you that you are yet one more victim of brainwashing by the most despicable psychological operation ever waged against the minds of men. In all of history, this has never occurred before. All possible because of modern technology. This lie has resulted in a mental delusion so great that people laugh and mock when told the truth. Masonic Hollywood productions mock us with films that reveal the truth as fiction. The mind matrix distortion concealing what real space and time actually is the Jesuits' greatest act of sorcery and illusion. Today, everyone believes the science fiction, which is the same as the fake theoretical science. It's diabolical. It's time to wake up and fight back because mainstream science is the new religion most people believe in, and the Luciferian Jesuits are its high priests. You may argue, wait a minute, I know the earth is a globe because the science books say so, and I've seen rockets go into space, I get satellite TV, and I've either seen the ISS at night or watched live broadcasts from the ISS with so-called astronauts floating in the air. You may even say, I've seen the curve of the earth from an airplane window, and I've seen pictures of Earth from space, and watched streaming live satellite footage of the earth from orbiting satellites in space. Sure you have. And they're all digital Hollywood productions. They're not real, people. Never believe what you see on TV. It is amazing what can be done with CGI. And you've all seen this in the movies. It looks real, but it's not. None of these things are what you think they are, and they can all be explained for the deceptions they are. Everyone, when asked, has the same response to flat Earth, yet no one has ever been into space. So no human being actually knows the true shape of the earth. Let me repeat, no one knows. And if they say they do, they're lying. That's right. No astronaut has ever rode on a rocket or been into space. NASA and all their spokesmen are lying, bound by Masonic bloody oaths. The ones who don't cooperate or suddenly get a conscience are murdered and silenced, like astronauts Grissom, Chaffee, and White, who were deliberately burned to death in 1967. Right here, you're going to have to swallow your pride and admit you were duped. If you refuse to humble yourself and admit you were wrong, then you'll die in a state of deep deception. What this means is that you think you know things you don't actually know. Sounds confusing, but it's the truth. Everything you have believed in, your reality, has been inculcated into your mind through trickery and illusion. Smoke and mirrors, perpetrated by Jesuit Masonic magicians and sorcerers using TV program, spell casting, textbooks, comic books, Hollywood movies, and pop music to spread their science propaganda. You and I were blinded by Luciferian scientism. Here are some facts about this deadly, multi-century campaign of spiritual deceit by the Luciferian Jesuits. First of all, it's important to note here that Roman Catholicism is just pagan Babylonian sun worship dressed up in Christian symbology. Catholicism has nothing to do with Christianity. Nothing. The Roman Catholic clerical hierarchy are sun worshippers and found a way to shift human perception by replacing a geocentric or earth-centered worldview into a heliocentric or sun-centered worldview. They did this incrementally by writing the official narrative using Roman Catholic Copernicus and Roman Catholic Galileo between 1500 and 1642. They shifted human perception, the understanding about the universe. The Jesuit military order appeared in 1534 to make war against the Protestant Reformation and immediately founded schools and colleges worldwide that taught Helio-centrism. But it took centuries for this teaching to be accepted by the Protestant mainstream, who rejected it for a long time as heretical, according to the biblical Genesis account of divine creation. The Chinese rejected it too for quite some time. It took centuries for the Jesuits to complete their occult paradigm shift of the universe using scientism or theoretical science in world education, masquerading as real science. The Jesuits understood that by removing the centrality of an unmoving earth, they could remove God from human reality and replace it with the lies of evolution and the Big Bang, which they also created. Erasmus Darwin, Charles Darwin's grandfather, created modern evolutionary theory, which Charles then later promulgated into popular currency in 1859. Einstein was used to promulgate his theory of relativity in 1905 to bury experiments by Albert Michelson and Edward Morley in 1887 and George Airy in 1871 that proved conclusively there is no movement of the earth. None. Jesuit George Lemaitre later concocted the Big Bang Theory in 1927 to replace divine creation with spontaneous generation. Spontaneous generation is magic. Magic. Something out of nothing. It's magic. Step by step, a false theoretical science paradigm was developed and entrenched with fascistic control in the schools and universities worldwide to replace empirical science based on repeat experiment and observation. People, this issue is spiritual, not material. It is an all-out war against truth. The truth about origins, the origins of the world. Please note that by 1814, the Jesuits had total world control of Freemasonry. And it is through the Masons, all secret societies, that the Roman temple cult took control of all science everywhere. This is how they've pulled off this monstrous deception against humanity. The Darwins, Lemaitre, Einstein, and many others were either Masons, Jesuits, or Jesuit agents pushing unprovable theories, which when tied to the heliocentric worldview attempts to totally eradicate God from the creation account. The attack is against God and the truth of His Word, the Bible, but it is also an attempt to destroy all humanity, and that includes you, dear listener. The mastermind behind this plot is Satan himself, using the Jesuits to bring in the darkness, and darkness is falling as I speak. Here we are, 500 years later, and the masses have been increasingly deceived generation after generation through the 20th century by false Jesuitical science and history. Once again, this was accomplished through Masonic education aided by TV and popular sci-fi culture, touting pseudoscience concepts such as space, space travel, evolution, transhumanism, aliens, salvation through high tech, and most diabolically, the humanist existential view of mankind as the sole agent of his destiny and salvation. Diabolical. The Bible states clearly more than 65 times that the earth does not move. The earth is a still motionless plane with the sun, moon, and stars circling above it. That was proven in the 19th century, but this truth has been buried by a century of Jesuit propaganda. People don't know because it's been erased from all the textbooks. Every single one of them. There's so much to cover in this topic of the flat earth, and it can't all be said here in this short space. So, having given a short overview of the history of where the current scientific paradigm came from, I'll continue to unfold in the next video a bit of what is happening right now in the flat earth movement. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.